Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin-yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Wednesday, November 30th, 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time. You're looking at Mauna, a historic eruption, the first eruption in 38 years, multiple lava streams moving down the flank, covering multiple roads. And we'll get to all the details in just a moment. The big story after the second snowiest November in 25 years. More snow is on the way. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Keep calm. It's boom time. It's true. There were hundreds of crashes across the state in the aftermath of Tuesday's snowstorm. There were dozens of jackknife semi-trucks. Vehicles spun out. At the least, 40 people were injured, according to the State Patrol. And more is coming. And no one is bumming because we love the snow. 2 western storms to dump feet of snow on the Sierra Rockies. And it is going to be happening over the next several days. Triple dip La Nina much? Snow in Oregon. Hood River gets 3 to 5 inches overnight. The Cascades could see up to 2 feet. And snowfall totals, some areas see 8+ inches during Tuesday's snowfall in Twin Cities. Did you hear any of this? Heavy snow knocks out power to thousands around Seattle as more wintry weather looms. Heavy wet snow brought down tree limbs and knocked out power to over 130,000 customers across Washington during the first round of snow. Snoqualmie Pass received 22 inches of snow since Tuesday, which was their lose day, with up to another foot forecast through Thursday. And more snow overnight. This time, the South Sound area in Seattle is getting hit. And here we are over at Power Outage US to get the most recent numbers, and it's looking good. Only 40,000 out in Massachusetts, 40,000 out in Maine, and 21,000 out in Washington. But these numbers will increase as the snow piles up. Now, chances of snow hitting Portland area on Thursday are increasing as snow and cold through the end of the week from Montana are looking ever present. In fact, feet of snow. Now take a look at yesterday's severe weather outbreak on the MRMS reflectivity that extended into today for the Southeast. There were over 110 different storm reports between tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds. Watch this front form. Look at that red line. Absolutely devastating. And if you want to know more, all you have to do is come out and check out Oppenheimer Ranch Project on Twitter, and that's at Diamond the Dave, Oppenheimer Ranch Project. We're just 25 away from getting to 4,000 followers, so I hope you would get us there. Cold front sweeping through the east, winter storm to affect the west. A strong cold front will sweep through the east today with a variety of weather hazards, including severe storms and heavy rain near the northeast Gulf Coast region, and rain and gusty winds in the northeast. Meanwhile, a powerhouse winter storm will affect the western U.S. the next few days with widespread heavy mountain snow, locally heavy rain along the west coast, and gusty winds. And it's going to be a boom time. Here we are at the current model, and you can see that system bombing out in the northeast, and why it is not moving is anyone's guess. Well, we had the new model run in, and it was new, and it only had no hours in. So here you can see that powerful storm dumping snow moving off the northeast overnight, but that's going to bring that storm system into the Pacific Northwest. Take a look at the snow dumping down into the Sierras over the next few days. Here's Thursday through Friday. You can see that heavy snow moving down the Sierra crest all the way to the south. And that is going to add insult to injury. On top of the west side Snowtel current snow water equivalent, which is looking quite epic. Let's take a look. We looked at this when it was ridiculous numbers over the last few weeks when there was thousands of percent above normal. But if you look at the Rocky Mountain frontier, or the Continental Divide, and we just split it down here, most west of the divide is over 100% of average snow water equivalent, up to 200% in many regions in Oregon. Remember, Oregon last year was in a complete deficit? Well, it's quite different this year. So hello, Oregon. You're getting moist. Moisture also coming to Nevada, and more moisture coming to Utah, Colorado, Wyoming that need it, because Colorado and Wyoming are the two states that are below that 100% threshold, as well as Wyoming, but plenty of moisture coming in the forecast. Take a look at the snowfall totals. Quite spectacular. So we're going to see heavy snow progressing through the next few days, which is good news for the people in the Pacific Northwest. Look at that snow just strip down the Sierras there through Friday morning. So from now till Friday morning, you're going to see quite a difference in the Sierra Nevadas and in the foothills. You can see some flash flooding, heavy snowfall, avalanche warnings up in the Taos region, where we're going to see over 4 feet of snow. And then Northeast is going to be picking up a little bit, but it's looking like the models are shifting, and there's a more mild forecast coming through mid-December. Although snow is going to be moving all the way down through Texas and into Louisiana potentially, the forecast is different. There is not a huge band of 30 inches through the Northeast. That's moved up here to the Maritimes and Eastern Canada, where they could be picking up to 7 feet, 8 feet of snow through mid-December. A December to remember. We could be seeing avalanche warnings and watches for much of northern Idaho, Washington State, the Cascades, and especially the Sierras starting midweek. Seismic update. We've seen a lot of activity over the last 7 days. You're looking at all magnitudes above 2.5. We still have that seismic swarm going on at the Reykjanes Ridge. It's been ongoing for months now. We could be seeing some volcanic activity at depth there. We know the Ahi Seamount out here in the Marianas Trench is erupting, and we have this unique quake happening out here in Peace River, Canada. Is it unique? No, it's not unique. It's happened many times. Everything you need to know about earthquakes in Alberta. If you just do a little bit of research, or you're a geologist, or you have a clue, you can find out that this is not a rare quake. Some people are claiming it is rare, but it's true that there are more seismologically significant provinces across Canada than Alberta. But as the Alberta earthquake history shows, low risk or not, Alberta has earthquakes that were big enough to get your attention. In fact, earthquakes do happen in Alberta in high numbers. According to seismological records from the Geologic Survey of Canada, there have been 2,153 earthquakes in Alberta just since 2006. And that's an average of 165 earthquakes per year, up from an average of just 19 per year between 1985 and 2005. So in fact, there is an earthquake uptick in Alberta in a big way. And earthquakes happen all the time up here near Peace River. In fact, a 5.3 occurred back in April of 2001. And dozens have happened since in the last few decades. And there are many other areas of peak activity, including Jasper Park, Fox Creek, Pincher Creek, Rocky Mountain House, and Hinton. Those are the hot spots. Now, we've had 386 from 1985 to 2005, just 19 per year. But take a look at what's happened in Alberta. In just the last 2 decades, we've gone to 2,153 earthquakes in that time frame, which is about 165 per year. So there is an uptick in earthquake activity in Alberta, and it's anyone's guess why that may be occurring. Now, the great roar this afternoon in Gran Canaria was not produced by any kind of earthquake, but it certainly got people's panties in a bunch. At the seismic center stations in the region, they saw noise of some kind from an unknown explosion. And in fact, they've determined that it was a bolide impacting on Gran Canaria. So we have more bolides impacting us at very strange times, and many events just kicking off worldwide. What say you? Now, California's most recent volcanic eruption rained ash for 300 miles. Hours of powers. And this is, in fact, the May 1915 eruption of Mount Lassen. You may not know about it, but it is the most recent eruption prior to Mount St. Helens with a VEI index of greater than 3. Now, Californians are accustomed to being battered by many of nature's whims. Earthquakes, wildfires, droughts, and floods are all regular visitors. Less familiar are volcanic eruptions, like the one currently taking place in Hawaii's Mauna Loa. But while these events feel worlds away, California's own volcanoes are capable of violent fury. And in fact, 8 of them were erupting as early as 1800 to present. Yes, Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, Mount Lassen, and many others have gone boom in the last 200 years. Now, for 3 million years, Mount Lassen bubbled and boiled beneath Earth's surface, and rarely does it erupt, but late May 1914, 27,000 years after its last explosion, the beast awoke. At first, the activity was slow. For miles around, Northern California residents could see smoke billowing from the peak summit. Today, scientists with the USGS know what's occurring was a steam blast or a phreomagmatic eruption. Steam blasts occur when molten rock rises towards the surface of a volcano and heats the shallow groundwater, according to the USGS. The hot water rises under pressure through cracks or near the surface, vaporizing vents explosively. And then you have a phreomagmatic eruption. For a year, Lassen smoked off and on, a gentle warning of what was to come. On May 14, 1915, sightseers were shocked to see undulating crimson lava flowing down Lassen's flanks for the first time. As soon as word spread, now this is the first time in 27,000 years, kids. As soon as word spread, people from as far away as Susanville began packing into cars to drive closer to the action. Among the looky-loos was Benjamin Franklin Loomis, a Manzanita Lake business owner and amateur photographer. Loomis's striking photographs of Mount Lassen's eruption were among the first ever taken of an active volcano, and they were, well, quite spectacular. Take a look at this. The eruption of Mount Lassen from Red Bluff, California, May 22nd, 1915, just 37 miles away. This appears to be a VEI 3 eruption, and all the Victorian garb in great effect. So we need to be on the lookout for the West Coast because things happen there quite rapidly. So stay tuned for more Boom Worldwide Volcano News Update. We've got Fuego, Popo, Semaru, Reventador, Sangay. Nothing spectacular. We do have some lava flows here coming from Etna and an interesting shot of Villarrica volcano in central Chile. Lava Pond remains active, as well as Cotopaxi, explosive activity continuing. And Chevaluche is looking like it may blow its roof. Now, there's a very high probability Mauna Loa lava will reach Key Hawaii Island Highway, according to the USGS. And yes, it did breach the highway. Here's the latest update. Alert level warning, color code red for Mauna Loa. The Northeast Rift Zone eruption of Mauna Loa continues, with 2 active fissures feeding lava flows downslope. The fissures' 3 lava flows are traveling to the northeast, though the direction shifted slightly westward overnight, still moving towards Saddle Road. Fissure 3 is the dominant source of the largest lava flow, and the flow front is about 3.6 miles from Saddle Road. And at this point, it may have passed Saddle Road. Mauna Loa eruption 5 p.m. update. Let's take a look at that. Scientists are getting up and close to the lava. The new emergency rule has been enacted, prohibiting parking and walking on the shoulders of Daniel K. Inyu Highway, where the lava may have already passed. Now, this is 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 29th. The lava flow produced by Fissure 3 on the northeast rift zone of Mauna Loa was located 4.5 miles from Saddle Road. We know it's now just 2 miles from there and maybe even closer. Here we see an amazing shot of a mother and her daughter looking at the lava from a distance, a safe distance. And here we are live at 2 Pineapples, the Mauna Loa lava flow. And here we have some footage as the sun set. Let's take a look at that. Wow. Holy macaroni. Wow, you can see our little $3 super chat there. Give him a thumbs up over at 2 Pineapples. Subscribe to the channel and tell him Diamond sent you. We're already subscribed, so we can't do that. But we can come back here to some of this high-def footage. Where was it? Holy macaroni. Yeah, look at that. Wow, look at that fissure. Look at the steam. Look at the activity. Fantastic. Now, it's about to get dark there in Hawaii. So these live streams are going to be lighting up in fantastic fashion. Let's see where they are now. There we are. Here's the current live stream. Now, and look at up here towards the north. Wow. So there doesn't seem to be any. No, this eruption is continuing in earnest, in my opinion, in a big way. Let's see if there's any other live streams that are popping up here that we can just pop on real quick. Volcano YT monitor. Let's take a look at that. And here you can see the streams of lava moving. Now all the streams of lava are meeting together and forming one front. So that's bad news. This is going to be double the volume or triple the volume, and it's going to help it move more rapidly. And here we are over at the best available rank events for seismicity, and you can see they're increasing again. So this is an ongoing uptick event, and it seems like right now we're at the cusp of a major uptick in activity. So stay tuned for more boom. And moving on to another volcano that just recently reactivated in the last 24 hours, Taupo volcano, New Zealand. There is an earthquake swarm beneath a lake that we've been talking about for months now, and it continues. The seismic swarm at the volcano is continuing in a big way. The number of earthquakes decreased over last month to about 10 to 12 per week. But the seismicity has risen over the last 2 weeks to more than 20 per week, and New Zealand registered 840 quakes in total since 2022. But today there was a flurry of activity, and there is one quake above magnitude 5 in the last 24 hours. Let's get that. Let's get these numbers up here. Why did this shift is anyone's guess, but I want to look at the last 24 hours here. Let's just click on that. Stay with me. In the last 24 hours, we have one quake above 5 magnitude, 3 quakes between 4 and 5, 23 quakes between 3 and 4, and 101 quakes between 2 and 3. Plus 83 quakes below 2 magnitude. So that makes the number about 200 plus quakes in the last 24 hours. Hours of powers. Look at all the quakes underneath Lake Taupo. And if we can look at the 3D telemetry of the quake front, this is an ongoing event, and the quakes are still happening. They began about 24 hours ago with some minor activity at about 5 kilometers, and then heavy activity at the 5 kilometer realm, while deeper activity is pushing up activity to 5 kilometers. This is indicative of what we would see prior to an eruption at a volcano. So as soon as this activity moves up into the 2-3 kilometer range, it's boom time. And so Taupo may be ready to erupt. Now, the bad news is that there is no minor eruptions from this volcano for the most part. The last eruption was recorded at VEI 0, but it was the after effects of the VEI 6 that happened in 233. There's also VEI 4, 2, 4, 4, 3, 6, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 4. You picking it up? Yeah, this baby blows big. 3 to 6 in volcanic explosive index. And we have a major uptick. We're going to be keeping a close eye on it as the volcanic activity is spreading now to 10 to 5 kilometers and even 3 kilometers above the surface. You see how this activity is now moving up? This could mean something is happening in the near future at the surface. Mark my words. We're not here to scare you. We're here to prepare you. So if you're in that region, take heed to our words. Now we're looking at the solar wind, Discover solar wind, and you can see the BZ here widening as the phi angle is shifting a little south and ramping up. Good news is density's falling off because the speed is very high up at 600 kilometers per second, and that is keeping us in perpetual geomagnetic instability or in that region. We did hit KP7 at the College Station 369 12 hours ago that held for 6 hours. So we do have some geomagnetic activity coming to the surface here, and we can see College Station again is above normal for the current reading. The aurora forecast is looking bleak, and that's because the solar wind is looking peaked and it's dropping off, as well as the density. So we don't expect any rapid uptick unless the phi angle shifts or the BZ shifts rapidly. So that's good news for space weather, because overall, take a look. At solar max, the sun is pathetically blank. Grand solar minimum much? Well, we know that's what's happening. You want to know what else is happening in your life? You need to be present. And one thing that's happening is Neuralink and Elon Musk, where at Neuralink on YouTube, and subscribe there and give him a thumbs up, he is in the process of doing a multi-hour seminar on all the breakthroughs through Neuralink. Now, it is not what you think, and the initial plans and stages are looking amazing. They're actually going to be making blind people see and quadriplegic victims walk or talk or even operate their cell phone faster than you can move your thumbs. So there are many implications for the work Elon's doing as far as human health and catastrophic spinal cord injuries and blindness that are quite spectacular. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I hope you got something out of the video. Be a hero. Share the video. If you have a little couple dollars, support the work we do. Become a Patreon and support the hours that I spend every day bringing the news to you. We love each and every one of you, our one-time donors, our Patreons, and the heroes that share this video. Be safe. We love you. And that's a boom.